Hello everybody, how are you? My name is Samson Z and welcome to Kopi Talk with Bosses right here, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Monster Mall. And this event, of course, is sponsored by Rock On Consulting and Summit Planners. And of course, usually every Thursday at 8 p.m. we have all our wonderful bosses, successful people coming down, joining us tonight just to be with you from the top floor down to the social floor. Okay, so tonight we have a very, very special guest, ladies and gentlemen. He's our principal consultant of Summit Planners. And of course, today's topic is corporate risk management, but also personal risk management. I'd like to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stefan Chu. How are you, sir?
Hi, I'm good. Yourself?
Very good indeed. And we're so happy to have you together here on the floor and our coffee talk. Really, real coffee here. Okay, yeah. Not promoting the brand, but of course, we're talking about real coffee. So tonight, our special guest will be telling you more about personal risk. Corporate risk as well, very, very important. Most people neglect all these important details about running a company or even a personal self. So we're gonna let you find out more about our guest tonight. So Stefan, please tell us more about yourself and your company.
Sure. Hi, I'm Stefan. Thank you for tuning in. I'm the principal consultant of Summit Planners. So what do? People describe me as the go-to consultant. They will come to me for anything that is financial related. In the case of individual, it could be things like their children getting married, they want to do prenup agreement, they're going through divorce, people dying, they're starting a business, their business is successful, they want to sell your business, etc., etc. So if you want to know exactly what I do, let's compare between GP and specialist. So when you're not feeling well, who do you go to? Most people will go to GP. If the GP can cure your sickness and you feel better, you will not go to specialist. So this is exactly what people describe me. I'm just a GP. People come to me for anything that is finance related, be it for individual or for corporate. And most of the time, I will be able to solve most of the issue. So that is what I do. I am the go-to consultant.
All right. So once again, guys, this particular show concerns you at home watching, not just for the business people, but people at home as well. You, me, people living, breathing, okay? All the humans out there. Why? Because you're going to stay tuned to find out more about why you are also involved as well. So you better stay tuned. But of course, as Stefan mentioned about his expertise and what he does, if you're not very sure, well, don't worry. We have a very special video for you to watch. So let's take a look at the video right now to understand more about corporate risk management. Take a look.
My name is Steven. I'm the go-to consultant for financial success. One of my areas of specialty is to protect the business value while at the same time ensure business continuation. Running a business is like running a marathon. Mishap may happen. There are 4 risk management that you must put in place in running a business. Number 1, keyman insurance. This insurance compensates the company for loss of profit arising from the death of the keyman. It helps to provide the cash flow to tide over a period of time. Number 2, credit protection. Loan has to be repaid. It is either now or when the guarantor dies. This insurance provides the funds to pay off the bank. Number 3, business succession planning. This provides the funds to buy over the shares of the deceased shareholders. And number 4, deferred compensation. Locking your employee with a reasonable deferred compensation ensure that they commit in their job, thereby increasing profitability to the company. Speak to a professional today.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, if you just joined us, a very good evening. Welcome down to Kopi Talk Bosses right here with us. And of course, Kopi Talk with Bosses, brought to you by, of course, Monster Mall. So today, once again, with our wonderful guest, Stefan Chu from Summit Planners. He's, of course, the principal consultant. And for those who just join us, once again, our topic is, what is corporate risk management? So right now, don't worry, folks. We're going to ask Stefan right now, straight away, what is corporate risk management? In your own words, sir.
Sure. Okay, just like you and I, we are individual. We are exposed to risk. Every morning when we wake up, we're exposed to risk. When we're traveling to office, we're exposed to risk in the form of accident, car accident, etc. Right? So a company, same thing, they are exposed to risk. The risk could be because of fire, because of somebody sue them, because of a supply default in delivering the raw material, because customer default payment. but it can also be due to human risks, such as the loss of the key person. So risk management in top corporate basically is the analysis of the risk that the company may be exposed to. And how could we structure the company such as to mitigate the loss if the risk actually happen?
Well, when you say mitigate the loss, let's talk about probably the recent fire that happened in Tuas. I'm sure they may have bought some fire liability insurance protection or whatever, but is it sufficient? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I will not be able to comment whether they have purchased sufficient fire insurance, public liability insurance. But using the example of Tuas, which most of you are familiar with, let's analyze the knock-on effect.
What's the knock-on effect actually?
Okay, so the fire occurred. You can see immediately from newspaper, the whole factory, the whole office was destroyed. Few employees died. People were injured. Neighboring company, their staff are also injured. They also suffer losses. Right? So the knock-on effect because of the fire is not just the fire. What will happen is those who died will sue the company. Those who are injured will sue the company. The neighboring factory, the neighboring business owner will sue the company. What about the customer? The customer will not be able to get delivery. They'll sue the company for non-delivery. The supplier will not get payment because the company has no money. The supplier will sue again. So end of the day, the likely effect is the company may close down.
Okay, so that's basically more on the corporate sense. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you might be asking, I'm at home. Why is this so important for me? Why do I need to be even watching this show? Now, that's fire on a corporate level, but of course, there could be fire at home, in your own home as well. Your fire protection, do you know what it actually covers? It can happen to anyone at home. Tell us a bit more.
Sure. I mean, for those at home now, I trust that your home are being covered with insurance, be it fire insurance, public liability, etc. Now, make sure that your content are well covered. Now, but content is not so important. The most important is a public liability. Let me give you an example. About 20 years ago, I have a case where because of fire, right, the couples who owned the house actually became a bankrupt. Reason, because the fire spread to neighbor. Neighbors sue. Insurance company will pay up to a limit based on coverage. The family has to pay. When they can't pay, they are being sued for bankruptcy. Let's go to the most recent, like last year. I'm sure you're aware that in Australia last year there's a lot of fire. So one of my Singapore clients who owned a property in Australia, because of the fire, the whole property was destroyed. There's still outstanding loan. The bank sued them, and he has to come out with his own money just to pay the bank for a property that's already damaged. Lucky the fire is act of God. If the fire started from his home, guess against the knock-on effect to the neighbor. The neighbor will sue him, and likelihood he might be a bankrupt. So it's important for you as an individual homeowner to make sure that you are well covered for content and especially public liability insurance.
Wow, that's deep, ladies and gentlemen. You and me at home watching this show, whatever, you're at home, you need to find out more. It also concerns you as well, not just people working in the corporate world or setting up a business as well. So if you have a private home as well, house on fire, your neighbor gets neighbor's house on fire too, then you're involved and you get sued left and right center. So it is very important to watch this show so we learn more about the corporate risk and also personal risk as well. Okay, so talking about, you spoke something about key person as well. I have an incident that we are reading through the papers recently about this particular person. He's a key man, the key person running a company. So something happens to him, his business flops, so the whole entire family is involved. He's probably going to be sued, and then business will fall because of him. So on a personal basis, like I'm a sole proprietor of a business, does it affect me as well if I'm the key person, if I don't have any risk protection in place?
Yes, definitely. Now remember, the success of the company mainly depends on a few key individuals. Just imagine, if you cannot contact your bosses, if you cannot contact the key person for 1 day, for 1 week, for 1 month, can your company continue to operate? If the answer is a yes, then this gentleman is not a key person. If the answer is no, the company will not be operate if I cannot contact him, then this person is likely to be a key person. And you know that the key person is the person responsible for the profitability of the company, for the continued operation of the company. So it is only natural that you will insure on this key person, so that just in case he is ill, he got accident, disabled, or even death, the company has a necessary cash flow through the insurance payout to continue operation.
Okay, so that reminds me of myself. I need to get myself insured as well because I have several companies basically running basically on my own company name. So again, it's back to you guys again individually. If you're a sole proprietor, if you're running a business, you need to get yourself insured in many ways or covered with regards to your risk management. So this particular person should have actually got some coverage for himself because he's on a downfall right now and it's going to snowball and then he gets sued and whatever not. So there you see, it's also very important. Now apart from that as well, there's also probably a few other factors. You mentioned about 4 different factors, but you only answered about 2. What 2 more? Maybe something to do with finance, credit, and bank loans or whatever not?
Yeah. Okay, let's look at COVID-19. During COVID-19, banks are encouraged to lend business owner money to tie through the COVID-19 period. But remember, whenever bank lend you money, lend the company money, there is one thing that they will always ask for, which is called guarantor. So if you are the guarantor of the company, be fair to your family members. Make sure you purchase a credit protection insurance. And the purpose of credit protection insurance is to pay off your bank loan, is to pay off your overdraft, just in case if you're not around. Remember, debt has to be repaid. It is either now or when death occurs. Bank will not waive off the debts when they're not around. Bank will go after your family, bank will go after your estate to claim for the repayment of the loan.
That also falls into the category of people being bankrupt as well, being sued by other companies. So you really have to protect yourself and your company, and diversification, as you mentioned also. And there's also one more. We're going to talk about success.
Succession planning
As well. But before we do that, if you have any questions, please don't be shy to type it inside our chat box, and we'll do our best to, of course, answer your questions. Now, remember, it's not just for companies, it's also for individuals. If you're getting married, or if you're basically going through a divorce as well, asset protection, protection from so much more fire, you just name it. Anything under the sun, basically, Stefan is here to help you. So please don't be shy to type in. If you're anonymous, just say, this is a question from a friend asking for a friend, and we can help to answer the question. Okay, so please don't be shy, type it in. Okay, so right now the question back to Stefan is once again success planning.
Yeah. Okay, just to add on a little bit that you mentioned about bankruptcy. Right. Now, I'm a consultant, so I handle all aspects of financial. So I also handle probate. I also handle people after death. So every year there are 1 or 2 cases which is very sad. The father passed away. They are supposed to inherit money, inherit estate, but unfortunately, because the father owed the bank money, because the father is a guarantor, and after clearing the liability, the bank loan, the estate is 0. So you don't want a case when death occurs, the person died as a bankrupt. And worst still is the family has nothing, and the family has to sell the property to pay off the debt and live with nothing. Okay, let me come back to succession planning. Now, what is this succession planning? Now, at some point in time when the business are doing well, and especially the case where you are one of the shareholders or one of the partners, succession planning become very, very important. I spoke to many business owners. Many business owners come to me, Stephen, how do I make sure that when I am not around, somebody will buy over my shares? How do I make sure that when my partners is not around, his family will not come in to become a shareholders? The only way you can make sure that this don't happen is to have a succession agreement put in place. Basically, what is the business succession agreement? It's an agreement put in place between business owner to regulate their understanding, to put in procedure, their agreement as to what happened upon the death, disability, or even during lifetime if one of them decide to sell the companies, decide to sell the shares. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So let me just add on if you're okay. Now, some business owner come to me and say, Stephen, how much will my partners buy over my shares? I will ask him, how much do you want him to pay? How much do you think your company is worth? Let's use the hypothetical example of a 10 million. Assuming you own 50%. 50% of 10 millions, easy calculation is 5 million. So Mr. Business Owner, when you're not around, having 50% shares, would you expect your partners, your shareholders to pay your family 5 million to buy out your interest? I guess the answer is always a yes. But when I ask the second question, Mr. Business Owner, if your partner go before you, will you be willing to borrow, to withdraw, to sell the house, to raise the 5 million, to buy over your partner's interest? The common answer is no. You want 5 million, but you don't want to pay 5 million. Now, to ensure that you will get the 5 million to pay off the family, very simple. Put in place a succession agreement funded by insurance. So upon death, the 5 million will be paid to your partner's family and you will take over the 50% shares.
Wow, this is deep, ladies and gentlemen, very deep and concerns everybody at home. Life, estate planning, will writing as well, divorce cases, bankruptcy, fire at home. All right, even a sole proprietor setting up a small company, running an events, you don't have public liability, something happens to you, you get sued. Man, it's really big, and this is something people forget. It's very, very much like insurance, right?
Yep.
You never know when it's going to happen, so you better be prepared. So if you just joined us, good evening, everybody. My name is Samson Z, together with Stefan Chu, everybody. He's, of course, our principal consultant from Summit Planners, and you're with us right here. Kopio Talk with Bosses right here, or rather, Kopio Talk with Bosses. I just want to say that this event is also brought to you by Rock On Consulting as well, our sponsors, and also Summit Planners. Now, before we end our show, just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please, once again, don't be shy to type it inside the chat box, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. Okay, so 5 more minutes before we say goodbye, but before that, Mr. Sepan, can you give some advice to people who are setting up new companies, maybe big SMEs, some advice for them that you can take on before we end the show?
Sure. So if you intend to sell companies with your friends, your business partner, etc., remember, put in place this thing called shareholder agreement. Shareholder agreement, once it's put in place, you hope that you will never have to revisit the agreement. The day you need to revisit the agreement is where you have conflict with your partners. Okay, your partners. So put in place a share agreement to agree upon what if. So typically, a share agreement will talk about the intention of this partnership, the role and responsibility. What should a director do? Who will sign the check? And what happens if somebody has sold the shares? What happens if somebody died? What happens if the company raised funds? There are many factors that will be included in this share agreement. For those SME that are already successful, contact us or look for a consultant that can do corporate risk management for you. It is important when you're successful to do a risk management for the company, so that just in case something happened, you are still rich, you are still financially sound, but the company may be wind up. I'm a consultant for the last 31 years. I went through 3 cycles. Many of the clients who come to me, when they get a trouble during crisis, they always come to me and say, Stephen, thank you very much. Because of you, even though my business failed, my family are protected, I still have money to live on. Right? So do remember, risk, everybody are exposed to risk. When it's our turn, nobody knows. Only the God will know. Before it happens, please do your risk management. In the case of you, for those who are not business owner, one of the things that you must consider is will writing. Nobody knows when you will stop breathing. So get your will done before it's too late. Thank you.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So better be prepared, huh? Be prepared and sorry. And of course, how can we contact you? Is there any number that we can, maybe you can just tell us your number as well?
Sure, I can give my mobile number. 9669 7574. Or you can Google Summit Planners. You'll definitely be able to look for us.
Okay, so don't worry as well. We'll put a link in the chat as well. Okay, all the details that you need to find, Facebook contact, and Mr. Stefan Chu's contact as well. Okay, so that's all for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to keep it very short and snappy and easy for you to digest as well. So you can always watch this on a replay as well. If you're watching, don't be shy to send in your questions as well. We're going to be on for at least another hour, and we'll help to answer those questions as well. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Samson Z right here. Okay, Kopi Talk with Bosses, brought to you by Rock On Consulting and Summit Planners, and together with our guest Stefan Chu. Thank you, Stefan, for joining us.
Thank you all. Bye. Thank you. Have a great evening.
See you soon, guys.